Hello.
Yo, we are live on a Monday, February 3rd. I'm Chad Smith.
I'm Tyranny Smith.
And we are the voice of college football, Oklahoma. A lot of news breaking recently. And if you kept up with us, then you knew it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Because T made it a point to talk about. We have a few things I guess we're going to talk about today. One is spring game for Oklahoma. No more. It is going to be a fan event where they're going to have different events and different things going on that are going to allow the fans to be involved. It looks like there's going to be some player activities, more of a combine situation. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some other just general, I guess, football news. Mm-hmm. And then we got to go backstage. We got to go a little behind the scenes. Tell them a little preview.
Yeah, we got to go behind the scenes with the women's gymnastics team last Tuesday and got to just hang out at their practice. We got to spend a lot of time with Coach Kindler herself and just ask her some questions and get to learn more from her. And, man, I left there, with so much knowledge I couldn't wait to share. So I hope my notes make sense because I was writing down super fast when we were talking with her because I didn't want to miss anything. Probably could have recorded it, or voice recorded it, but we'll share it. And we're also going to share a video while we were there.
And hopefully we can go back sometime. And we're a little more comfortable now with what we are allowed to do. It was very much when we got there, it was I don't want someone doing a flip and hitting me. And I'm more so, I don't care if I get injured. I'll get over it. But if I cost the Oklahoma Sooners a natty, I don't know if I'll ever recover from that.
So we just wanted to stay in our own little box.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
We'll explain more when we get there.
Yep.
But it's definitely true.
So thank you all for listening. We stream Mondays at 7. And then if there's breaking news, if we can get to it, we both have obviously full-time jobs. We try to get to those that breaking news as soon as possible. We did a video for the Gymnastics hiring, and so again, if you enjoy what we provide, then throw a like and a comment in the YouTube algorithm deal.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped us kind of spread our channel and get more people listening. So there is a wider group. So yeah. Anything else in the intro or? I always have to make sure I didn't miss anything because I have a tendency to jump ahead.
No, I think we covered it this time.
The
usual though, yeah. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Welcome back if you're coming back, and welcome if you are new. And we hope you come back.
Yeah, I see someone said long-time fan, first-time listener. Thanks, man. We appreciate you hopping in the chat. Sean, thank you. All right, well, I want to play this video. So if you haven't heard, the spring game is going to be changed into what appears to be more of a. Let me get to my notes up here, and I got even a table in this thing too.
He went hard on these notes. He went hard on these notes.
And I try to do some key points and stuff, but there is going to be a change in the way the spring game is going to be run. Instead of it being an actual game, it's going to be a combine-esque event where you're going to see a lot of players and coaches even engage in probably just some drills and do some different events throughout the day, probably a pass competition, catching, competition, things of that sort, 40 times and whatnot. I don't see. I guess there's really two ways to go about it, and I'm interested how you think.
Okay.
One part is I understand why fans are frustrated. It is never fun to see things you enjoy that really a lot of people got a lot of value out of, at least for a day. My my dad brought up a point that it was a big boost for the local economy. A lot of the restaurants got a big boost from hosting the game. And that is completely understandable, and I get why people want it to continue for that reason. And to be quite frank, in an ideal world, I would too. I think they're enjoyable games and something that a lot of fans get value out of. I do think that there is something to be said with Oklahoma not waiting to change with the times. And right now, with how NIL is, money's so important. Every dollar is so important that you have to make sure if you are going to spend dollars, is the return on that money spent enough value for you to justify not spending it on just a more talented player out of the portal.
Okay.
And then on top of that is the risk of losing, especially after last year, like we saw how valuable, how devastating injuries can be. Is the risk of those injuries, in a spring game where you are a little more hyped up, you're a little more energetic, you're in front of fans, is that worth, the risk? And now with the portal as well, is it worth showing talented players off to other schools? These are all considerations that they've made. I think that it is a driving force and reason why they've made the change to now do away with the spring game in the sense that it's not going to be just 11-on-11 red-white game. Eddie Radesevich tweeted out that I'm still the only one to predict the Sooners will win the red-white game. He's like, it's kind of a funny tweet. But there was a lot of people just kind of, I think, really confused as to why this was being made, or maybe not confused, but the reasons why. And I just think that I think the benefits are fan engagement for sure. There's team chemistry built in any kind of team outing you go out and engage in. There is that weird dichotomy of it is your own team, so it's always the funny tweets of I'm both mad and angry. Our team's had a long touchdown because our defense gave it up. But what are your thoughts, kind of first hearing about it being canceled and what the changes are going to make to the other game? And then I have some sound. From
so when we had talked about it. It was weird.
Sorry, my bad.
We had talked about it a few weeks ago. We had mentioned we didn't think that was going to happen necessarily this year. We would kind of be surprised, but also we wouldn't doubt it too, just because of how things were changing. But I think after last week when we saw Texas and USC, somebody else, there's lots of other schools canceling their spring games. We were like, seems to be like a much bigger risk now. I'm happy in the sense that they're giving the fans something, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I was personally disappointed. I even tweeted I don't really want to go, but I probably will go just out of curiosity, just to see what it is that they have in store, if that makes sense. But I mean, we'll have to see. It's just, I think they don't want to have a game for the injuries. I can understand that to an extent if some kid gets injured.
Right.
But also, you could just get injured in regular practice.
Yeah, no.
So I think too, gaining the experience of getting at least somewhat of a feel for what a game would be like, especially for the young guys, would be good. If a kid's not completely healthy yet, then obviously they're not going to play anyway.
True.
Or I don't know. I mean, even at this point, I think fans may have even taken a flag football game, like they do in the Pro Bowl, something like that. Which I don't know. Maybe that's planned. Maybe that's one of the activities. I have no idea. But I'm disappointed, because I really did look forward to it. Now I kind of see it being more potentially a long line type of thing. You remember when in 2022 when they're pack the palace and then didn't have any gates open and we stood in line for a long time. That's how I feel like it's going to end up being. But who knows? Maybe it'll be. Right. I mean, it's probably not going to be perfect since it's going to be the first time they're putting on this Crimson Combine. Is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
But I am happy in the sense that they're at least trying to give the fans something in replacement, not just completely taking it away.
By the way, that's something we're also going to talk about is the OU the players from OU that were in the NFL Combine a little bit. So I feel like we didn't even mention that in our intro, but that's on me. But yeah, that's 100% correct. And typically, spring practices are, I believe, 34 days, and I think you get 15 sessions. You get full contact. You get 3 full-time scrimmages. Now there is a argument, and I think a legitimate point, that if we're going to go this full just professional sports route, do what they do in NFL, where you do get a day of basically of public practice with a scrimmage at the end of it. It's not a full scrimmage, and I agree with something one of our listeners right now said, which was none of the injuries this fall were due to the spring game. Every team already knows the talent we have. This was for the fans to have a fun and cheap opportunity to take their families. I totally understand that sentiment and that view. I think that it's just if I'm just looking at it at a Machiavellian level, where it's just what does the ends justify the means? We all loved the 2022 spring game, right? We were there. It was a blast. There were 70,000 people. We didn't love the season we had.
No.
And it's so I mean, although these are fun moments, it's now I don't know, the spring game doesn't have anything to do with how that season went really, but a great spring game experience isn't necessarily translating right now into success on the field, and we are so, I think, worried as a team, or especially in the offices, of just losing players either through the portal or getting tampered with or through injury right now, that they are just doing all they can to limit those situations.
Right. Especially the tampering, because somebody had commented to me, essentially, why won't the NCAA see that what this is doing for fans and the fan experience? I'm like, they have no power.
They have no power.
They have no say. There's nothing that they can do. Nope. That they're not in charge of that. And now, maybe could they do something for tampering? But what? At the end of the day, be like, well, like we've mentioned before, Oh, well, then you're limiting a kid's ability to make money on his name, image, and
Right.
likeness.
Yeah.
Because if I'm being tampered with, it means I'm getting more money,
Exactly.
which is basically what every single case or suit has been brought up against
Right.
the NCAA. Like what it's been, the ultimate decision was anyway was basically you can't affect it, can't affect their ability to make money.
Yeah.
And so they have no willpower, and I didn't know how to put that in a tweet that was short, so I just was like, maybe he's seeing this, but no, the NCAA is. I don't even know.
They've been
Honestly,
neutered.
we should doge them
Yeah,
because
they-
they have no power.
They don't,
So
yeah.
get rid of them.
No, I didn't mean to cut
Sorry,
you off.
that was
I
overly
just-
political, but everybody knows
No,
what
I know
that's.
what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you have no power, but really not doing anything, there's no sanctions. I mean, what are they able to do? So
Nothing right now.
I don't know. I like I said, I was really disappointed because I was ready to see, either some of the young guys getting to
Right.
go on the field, getting to see John Mateer,
Mm-hmm.
see how he slings it. I don't know, but
Yeah, I get it. It's just one of those things where it's, if you're gonna have these events, or if you're gonna have the spring game, I just need to know. For me, if I'm being just completely honest, I just need to know. As much as I love the fan experience part of it, and I'm not trying to downplay that at all because it is real. I need to know money in and money out. What are the operational costs for running the spring game? I have no idea. I'm sure I could talk with some people that do, and I can be completely wrong about this, and I'm open to being corrected. I don't know. Does it make any money for us to have that? I know it's a fan engagement thing, but here's the dirty little secret. I think that no one in the university would say because it's quite frankly not something you'd want to say. Mm-hmm. We're still going to sell out every game.
yeah,
Every game we play in is going to be packed. It's not going to
Right.
affect game day sales at all.
no,
And I know that it was fun for the fans, but I'm sorry if I'm one of the regents and I'm in the university I'm over. If
Right.
I'm Joe C and the athletic department I'm over we need more money to get better players.
Can I bring up a point?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sorry, this is
No,
besides
it's
the
all
point, but I
good.
hadn't
No.
thought about this. At the ladies' clinic, they auctioned off. You got to call an offensive series and a defensive series at the spring game.
That was real?
Yes.
Wait, was that our friend that got that?
Yeah, and she tweeted about she was supposed to call offensive plays at the spring game.
Can I say her name? Is that cool?
Yeah, Jonna May. Jonna May was supposed to call offensive plays at the spring game. I know she did, I think, a defensive series last year. So they spent good money on those. So what's
Well, hold on, John and May. We're gonna see if we can. Our 20. So who do we play first? It's basically gonna be a spring game by the halftime. We got
Illinois State?
Illinois State. So here's what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna riot if they don't let you do this. Well, I guess it'd be second, but we're gonna get you to call plays in the second half.
There you go. Call one
You're gonna
offensive
get a call on offensive play.
series during. That would be wild, actually.
Calling it right now. It's gonna lead to a touchdown, and she's gonna become the first
I
ever
believe
offensive
her.
coordinator and
Female?
female ever.
Female offensive
You're gonna go
coordinator.
from here. You're gonna go to the NFL,
Hey.
and then you're gonna host like podcasts talking about like.
But yeah, I
offensive
happened to
strategies.
see that point, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's
I
a good
forgot all
point. I
about
would be livid.
Yeah.
Glad I, just turned that one down. It's not
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
didn't bid on anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's not because yeah, for sure. It was just it wasn't what we felt we needed at that time.
Right. But
Let's listen to this sound by. Unless I'm sorry, did you have something else?
no, I just.
Boomer 129 is on
don't
one
even
right
put
now.
that
We're not gonna.
I just. No, I was disappointed. I don't really want to go because I just feel like it's going to be a line of palooza, a bunch of lines and confusion. But I probably will go because I'm just curious to see what. Curious to see what.
Where am I? Man, I hate whenever
what
things like
what it is
don't
going to
show
become,
up.
but we'll see.
Yeah, and you know what we need to do? If anyone wants
Hey,
to,
maybe it'll be better than we think.
I think that it's still going to get a lot of people out there and that are going to be able to watch the team do drills and do different things and just give them some time. They're going to come out and show different events they're going to have, and maybe some of it will be really interesting and it'll be something we want to see. I would still want to go just because you're going to get access. I think it looks like closer, person to person access with the players and the coaches.
But again, line of palooza.
Yeah, true. Or you could try to just cut the line, which I would never say do unless you get away with it.
Slytherin.
But I don't think that's smart. That's not a good thing. I don't think you're a great person for doing it. But I get reasons why. They used to allow people to get jobs at the Supreme Court of the United States. where their only job was to wait in line for other people to come and then take their spot in line.
How much did it pay?
Pretty good money until it became illegal. So as you can
illegal.
imagine, so a lot of the homeless community would do this for like big. So like during the Affordable Care Act oral arguments, they would a lot of these firms would hire homeless people to just sit in line for them for days, and as they got to the front, they would just come and give them their $500,000 for waiting, and then they would just step in line and wait for 1 minute and go in.
Of course, it becomes illegal. Something that could help the homeless.
I know, the free market
It's
working,
fine.
and people just
It's fine.
yeah. But let's listen to the sound. I'm interested. I have not heard it yet. It's Jim Nagy talking about the.
I had bookmarked this to come back
Oklahoma.
to, so I'm
There
glad
we
we're
go.
watching it now.
There we go. And we should be able to get sound here. I have audio.
Again,
share
per
tab.
usual, if you cannot hear it, let us know in the live chat because we're not perfect yet.
We are not perfect yet. That is very, very sure.
Oh no,
I think
we have frozen.
We've frozen, and my mouth's wide open. That's cool. I wonder if they can hear us.
Oh, the storm.
Oh. Well, I don't know. Maybe we can't get it up. Are y'all still?
Wait, try again.
Y'all still able to hear us, or did we block out? Well, we'll go ahead like they can. So we'll see. Entire screen.
That's what we need to do.
Audio share.
It keeps freezing.
I don't know if it's letting us do that. Well, we may not be able to. If not, no big deal.
That's worrisome for gymnastics.
Oh, I know. Well, I don't know if there is. My mom just called. I don't know if we're on anymore. But we'll hopefully, if you can hear us, we're sorry if I'm mumbling. I just can't hear it. Oh, we're still on.
You're still on.
That's weird.
Weird.
Our screen is like totally frozen.
Everything is oh, we're back.
And now we're back.
Temporarily.
All right, she didn't mean to call. That's funny. Mother, put the phone away.
We thought that was an emergency because anytime our families
Yeah.
call during
I
certain
got worried
times,
there
we're
for a
like,
Why can we not just play this? It's really frustrating because I wanted to hear what he had to say. All right, we're going to try one more time. We're going to go present, share screen. I'm going to keep my mouth closed in case it freezes. Hold on. She's calling again. Okay. No. Share. All right. There we go, T.
my brother,
about
y'all
that?
are on. Y'all are still on. Thanks, Derek.
And boom.
And
Let us know if y'all can hear
you
that.
can win, and you can win big time there. And really just getting in the building and meeting everyone, from President Haraz and Joe Castiglione and Coach Venables. I mean, just really good people there. So it's set up for success. And credit the leadership there. They are really committed to this new model in college football. So I'm just fired up about it. I can't wait to get out to Norman.
What's the structure? Are you under Joe C? Are you under Brent Venables? Are you side by side with Brent? Like, how does the hierarchy look?
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there, Dari. I knew you were going to go there. No, Coach Venables and I are working side by side. This is a true collaboration. It's going to be a great fit. Again, if I would have went out to Norman and really not felt that from him, then I wouldn't have accepted the role. But we're gonna be on the same page. I mean, it was great. The interview was great because I could feel his passion come out when we were talking about this thing. And he's so high energy. He was on the edge of his seat the whole time we're talking, and then I got on the edge of my seat. So we're both ultra competitive. So that's going to be great. So yeah, we're working in tandem. Again, I want to know what Coach Venables looks for in players. I want to know the intangible stuff, the non-negotiables for him. We're going to get on the same page there, and then it's my job to find those players. He still has the vision for this program, and my job is to deliver the players. And yeah, I mean, we're going to be working under Joe Castiglione and Randall Stevenson, who's our chief of football, and they've given us great support. I mean, everyone's really excited about this thing. We've got great things ahead of us, and so yeah, we're going to be in lockstep. Brett and I are going to be in lockstep, and we know that.
All right, awesome stuff from Mr. Jim there.
Yeah.
Jim Nagy. A little bit different than what I thought it was. It's not totally just centered on stop the screen share. We got to probably fix that after a while. My bad. We have that storm in here coming as well as making it kind of difficult to work everything. So there is some pretty good nuggets in there, I think, of what he expects to do. That word always makes you laugh. Like nuggets of information. about what kind of he envisions as he is in the role, and going out. I like what he said about the non-negotiables. Like, what is it that you have to have in the players that I go out and try to find for you?
Right.
We're doing getting ready for a mediation on Friday, and that's kind of one of the things we're asking our clients is, what is it that you look like there's no chance you're giving up? And there you can actually work from that foundation out and start thinking about, well, if you're not willing to give up that, here you can work this way. So it allows him to kind of really make sure he doesn't violate those fundamental.
Right, because it's a culture
things,
fit too at the end of the day,
Uh-huh.
especially in a era of NIL and transfer portal. You're hoping you get people who fit your culture, that they don't want to leave, that they
Right.
buy into it, that they buy into the goal and the mission, and then you build on it. I mean, to find more Danny Stutzmans, Ethan Downs, Billy Bowmans of the world that are just committed to the program, and so
Right.
I get that.
And I think Caden asked, can you explain to me what all Nagy's duties as GM of football? I think that's kind of what it's going to be. He's going to be in charge of really tracking the portal, the transfer portal, where these players are, going out and finding talent that is there that maybe is not being seen right now, or maybe under the brush a little bit. Again, as his job as the Reese's Senior Bowl coordinator for as long as he was, his job was to go out and get the best college players. And a lot of times those best players, although it is easier because they're on a national scale, a national television scale a lot, there was a lot of players that come from smaller universities that people a lot of times didn't realize why they got the invites. And it was always seemed to be this was a Jim Nagy fine. Like, this is just what he does. So he knows the portal well. He knows where those players are. He knows how to, as he put it in a different interview, how to track the players that are in the portal, where they transfer to, where that talent goes. And then he's just an overall just good recruiter. I've never seen so many people have so many good things to say about one guy.
Right. And basically, if anybody's hating on it online, it's just a troll at that point.
Right.
Like, truly, nobody has anything negative to say about it. We did mention in another video, we have a small, about 10, 15-minute video that we put up last week solely on the Jim Nagy hire, if you're wanting us to go more in depth. But essentially, player negotiations to contract negotiations, making sure that those are valid and followed through with. Things like that, like the business side of it, that you would look for.
Yeah, exactly.
Roster.
So just real
I
quick,
don't know what the word off. I lost it. That's fine.
last second on the maybe last thoughts on the spring game aspect of everything. Overall, I mean, does it change your outlook on what you think is going to, like, for Oklahoma next year? It doesn't necessarily really, for me. It doesn't change how I think the team is going to be. I just think that they are wanting to, with all the changes they have, a completely new wide receiver room, basically save 2 players, a new quarterback. You need as many practice reps as you can get with those guys. And but again, like, immediately my mind goes to, but yeah, it'd be nice to have them feel that adrenaline and have some reps in front of the fans already.
Right.
But, you know,
This one hair.
where
Sorry,
is that?
It's bothering me.
What happened? Oh, that's what happened, you know.
Like strangling across.
It's all
Sorry.
good. Don't strangle yourself. I mean, that wouldn't be good. But there's, you know, there are legitimate arguments as to why we should still have the game. But I think overall they're just wanting to do something that the fans will enjoy being a part of, that still provides some value in terms of entertainment for the fans, shows appreciation for them. Because I think Teddy Lehman put it really well the other week when he said, they're asking more and more from the fans, and it seems like they're giving us less and less. And part of that is, yeah, they are, and part of that is it sucks, but it's reality. Reality at some point. We gotta, and you know, we've heard it too. We've got to get more money somehow, and where you're gonna get that from is you're gonna have to cut costs, or you have to increase prices. You know, it's like not politics, but it's just true. You know, where do you get money in the government? It's either through the only money the government gets is through taxes, or through taking it from, you know, wherever they can take it, or you can cut costs that they're already spending, and save that money saved can go to different avenues or different areas. So it's the same with a college like Oklahoma. It's you got to cut costs in certain areas, or you increase prices of everything. And when, you know, high noons are already $15, it's hard for you to justify increasing prices
Lord
that much
have
more.
mercy.
You know.
Yeah, crazy. No, that's my final thought. I'm gonna miss it. I was disappointed. I'm happy they're giving fans something, even though I do think it's just gonna be Line-A-Palooza. It's not gonna be. It might be better than I hope. Maybe I'm hoping. I mean, I'm expecting the worst, hoping for the best. So I guess if I expect Line-A-Palooza and it's not, I'll be happy. But it's just the more changes. I think that's another issue with it, is fans are already so tired of all the changes that have occurred seemingly the past few years that it's just another one. So it's not the last, guys. It's not the last. But anyways, on to the next topic.
Next topic. All right. We had some Oklahoma Sooners in the NFL Combine. I was not one of them. Sadly, I was not invited.
I actually would love to have them to have like normal people out there doing
There's
what they're
always
doing,
next year.
and to compare. Would that not be hilarious? Like have you run the 40,
Yeah, but see, people have seen really slow people run before. It wouldn't
but
do
like
much for 'em.
comparatively,
Look, we keep freezing. This is very frustrating.
we're
on
not
our
freezing
end.
on their end, so
All
we're
right,
just
we'll
gonna
keep it going.
pretending like nothing's happening.
True professionals.
Yeah,
TNIR.
sure.
TNIR. That's right. Well, now my screen's frozen, so I can't see anything. Well, all right. Ethan Downs,
Okay.
Danny Stutzman.
Yep.
First name Steven. Is that it? Steven something Stutzman?
Yes, we don't talk about it.
And Billy Bowman.
Yes,
All three.
Junior.
Billy Bowman Jr. Yes. All three very, very good college players. Ethan Downs made him a lot of money this week.
Good for him.
Tell me a little bit about what you saw, some stats, what you saw.
let me get my phone out.
There we go. I'm shit.
Because I have to take
That's what I'm
notes.
talking about. That's called setting your partner
I
up.
actually
Everybody.
really love it for Ethan because he just he was always one of my favorite players at the ladies clinic.
And you said this 3 years ago before he was even like a big name. I'm giving you more credit. That's the only reason why I'm interrupting. You said this 3 years ago.
That he just he just seemed like a genuine kid, and just there's that saying that some people love playing football, some people love being a football player. This kid just loves playing football.
Yeah.
And he loved the University of Oklahoma, and I always was rooting for him
Right.
every second of the way. And so I'm so happy for him to have the like results that he got, because I think it's just, and beyond just seeing what a good human he is, like he's also good at football, and I hope that he goes on to have a really good career and get drafted. So he, on the bench press, most reps of anyone. Well, defensive ends there, right?
I think so. I think it was anyone, really.
Maybe,
Last time I saw.
but I think specifically it was like the defensive end players. He had 32.
32
How many think you could get?
225? None. I could get a negative one that would just, it would be a guillotine. I'm a tall drink of water. I got long arms.
Okay,
I got John
that's
Jones
the
and me have
excuse.
something in common.
his arms are longer than yours, but I
Well,
digress.
that's not what important. I didn't know you were going to fact check me.
Also in the 40-yard dash, he ran 4.69. 4.69.
Good.
So pretty good for his size. But what?
Then.
Stop.
No, you're doing. I wouldn't even. No, I was
Now I'm
making fun of my own
nervous.
self.
Oh yeah, no, it was defensive line edge bench press.
That's what I'm talking about.
32.
That's why I married her. Key to marriage:
Fact
marry
check.
someone smarter than you. They get to do all the hard stuff, like memorize things.
But yeah, but I think who was it? Was it OU? I think OU put it. It said Captain America can fly. Talking about when he was running, and I was like, oh,
awesome.
that's so good because he really is just
Yeah.
that type of kid. So I was really happy for him. Hopefully, it just means good things for him.
Yeah,
down the road.
and Jake Crane had from Crane & Co. had a segment today on his show about does the NFL draft really provide much? And I think for
it
the most
can.
part, yeah, exactly. I think for the most part, no. Like it's like judging a chef on how fast he chops celery or like how fast he can chop parsley and stuff. Like, some of that's just you're just showing things that aren't really necessary on the football field. Like there's like it's more important to be laterally quick as a receiver, in my opinion, than to just run a 40 fast.
Fair.
Because you're never going to have a chance unless if it's a Hail Mary or you're just
Right.
running
It's like
go
when
routes.
Jaden Gibson said he'd smoke everybody in the 400.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
exactly. And I think for people, and I think you do get a big benefit for the Ethan Downs of the world, the people
Right.
that never got like all the headlines because he had a star behind him,
Right.
and Stutzman and another one in Billy Bowman, but a guy that if you were Sooner fans knew, and I think as the year went on, the country at large knew that was a legitimately good player.
Right. He was consistent. And that I think I mentioned it in other videos. Not that we had a ton during football season, but I mentioned Ethan Downs is just a consistent player for me. Again, he's never going to be the headliner. He was never going to be your star, but he did his job when he was called to do his job. You never saw him essentially being the guy that missed that tackle
Right.
or missed that assignment. He was there. He was just always consistent. And to me, that speaks volumes. Because often too, you're going to go under the radar.
Yeah.
So for him to already probably have the film where they can specifically look at him and see that he's consistent and then show off those physical attributes as well, I think that'd be really good for him. But I will say it could also have the negative effect because we have a friend who went through the process and when they measured his arms, they decided his arms were too short.
Oh yeah.
And that that was enough for them to.
Even then, it's like it's so weird.
wild,
Like, that was a knock on Jason Kelsey when he was coming out as a center. You know, it's like Aaron Donald. They said didn't have the upper body of it, and it's like, my goodness. Like, I mean, I'm glad someone was like, well, I'll just give it a shot.
Right.
You know, like that's what he was saying. It's like, you know, T-Rex don't really have long arms, but they get the job done.
I was thinking of T-Rexes.
You know, it's like, I know there's the idea of the perfect athlete. Now, there are some I mean, it would be tough because some of those dudes are just absolutely ridiculous,
Right.
and they, you know, it's hard to get in close enough to block. But
I'm happy
you know,
for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think overall for him, it was a boosting
experience,
experience, and it was an experience that's going to get him drafted and on a team.
And funny enough, I think for players that are known, it only could hurt them.
Fair.
Because you see, like Quinn Ewers, looking like he's never thrown a football before. Looking as bad as his haircut used to look.
I know you really want to go on with this. I'm going to play devil's advocate that we didn't watch the whole thing.
I don't care. I saw 2
and
passes.
they clipped 2 or 3 passes. Granted,
No, it's all I see.
they were atrocious.
Will Howard might have been worse, but we're not sure.
So
There was a
The
waste
power of
management
the
truck that
power-
drove by about an
Oh
hour and a
my
half ago doing, and I'm like, is Will Howard's game film like NFL Combine film in there?
Chad,
Well, it was just a question. I'm not saying it had to be, but it would have
But-
been fitting.
the power of the internet, you can clip and show what you want. And
Yep.
so I will play devil's advocate, and we just didn't see the rest. Now,
Sam Bradford had a pro day whenever he was injured and had 78 straight completions, and he didn't even play that whole year. He had a torn collateral. I'm just saying.
well, if the Heisman candidate, if the Heisman winner is your standard.
I just they were missing just simple.
I'll be
out
honest.
routes.
I didn't think this year's quarterback class was good anyway.
Yeah, it's
I
not
say
the deepest,
good.
Yeah.
They were good, clearly.
I know,
but
I know what you mean. Yeah,
great.
it's not that. Well, I can't remember like the last great class. I guess the
Okay,
2019, 2020 with Joe Burrow and all of them were pretty good.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying
you
though,
had-
to me out there was not a single Joe Burrow, not a single Jaden Daniels, not a single Sam Bradford. Like, I didn't see any in general throughout college, which I said that this year, that I didn't really ever see any quarterbacks playing that I was like, wow, that gave me that Joe Burrow holy cow feeling.
Right.
So,
No, that's fair.
anyways,
Yeah.
so take that as you will.
Danny Sussman also had a good week.
Yay, Danny!
Absolutely move. 4.52,
A little bit.
3 straight 100 tackle seasons, which is just very good, obviously. And what was it? Billy Bowman ran a 4.42. That's absolutely moving. People don't realize how fast that is.
Thank you.
Like when that's electric time.
That's why I said we need to put it next to
moving.
some normies.
Matthew Golden, by the way, from Texas, said that he was going to break Xavier Worthy's 40 time at 4.29 or whatever he ran.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was going to run a 4.21. Now, granted, he got down to like a 4.3 flat, but the first one he ran a 4.41, and I'm like, what are we doing? Why would you put? See, this is why don't put expectations on yourself that don't need to be there. Just say,
don't make yourself bookmarkable.
because now you ran a 4.3, which is burning, and everyone's like, didn't beat Xavier Worthy though. It's like, dude, why do that? I just don't.
Would you like to know my reasoning?
Why?
Because boys are dumb.
Boys are dumb.
Boys are dumb.
Well, that was not a good deal. But yeah, he ran fast. But
He ran
all
fast.
3 of the
Sorry.
Sooners that went, I think.
The way you said that,
Yeah.
he ran fast.
But don't you agree? Even on non-Sooner Twitter pages that we saw, just legit, just NFL scouting pages, all 3 got raving reviews. They were all really impressed.
Right. And I think they got raving reviews and, as we mentioned, surprised.
Right.
Because,
yeah.
again, which is what we've mentioned before, a lot of these analysts and a lot of these people were like, oh, OU can't believe their defense is that bad because of all the points we're giving up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
right.
it's all defensive players. So they probably had this low expectation, but it's also like, tell us you haven't watched a game without telling us you haven't watched a game.
Right.
Because it was not the defense that was the issue. It was the offense scoring
Yeah.
for us, or offense putting the defense in impossible positions, things like that.
Right.
So I think it was surprising for some of them in a good way. It shouldn't have been, you would think. But again,
wouldn't.
they're following a lot more players, so I should give them the slack there. If you wanted me to talk about some random, I don't know,
Yeah.
Michigan player, I probably wouldn't know. So, I
Right.
mean, they're following
Fair.
a lot more people in the end. But definitely, I loved seeing the reaction, as you mentioned. I'm like, yes, good for them.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I was gonna say go make that money, but they've been making money now for
Ooh,
several
there we
years.
go. Heck yeah.
Go make more, I guess.
Make more. Yeah.
Go fulfill your dream, because all of these, like I said, all of these seem like genuinely good dudes, very loyal to the university, which we will always be thankful for. So go. Yeah, that was a crazy comment. But like, I wish all of them the best and hope that they get drafted as high as possible. I think too, it said Billy Bowman had the fastest time of all the defensive backs. Am I making that up? Fourth fastest 40 among safeties. Okay, so fourth fastest. Fourth fastest. He wasn't the fastest. Sorry. I didn't read it completely. Fourth fastest. Still not bad.
Also, Ollie Gordon. You know what? I went to, like, sometimes we'll go eat waffles, for breakfast, like at Prairie Kitchen or something, and I'll be like, hey, I want some waffles. Can we get some sugar-free syrup? Because super healthy people, we get sugar-free. And, like, whenever you just let the syrup, the syrup just, like, drip out, it's really slow. Ollie Gordon running a 40, apparently. Similar. Dude ran a 4.61. Now, I know I said it didn't matter, but when you're as slow as Lane Johnson was as an offensive lineman coming out, what are we doing, Ollie? Move your feet.
Did he limp afterwards?
Probably. He probably said he was hurt.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
I have no idea. I
no, that was shocking. That
was shocking.
So that's okay. So to me, that's a situation in which you you drop yourself back because one, he didn't have the season he thought he was going to have this past year, so that was already shocking, if you will. He had that limp when he didn't make big plays, but was perfectly fine after them.
Same with Caleb Williams.
And then you go and run a 40 like that. Now, I don't know what else he did and anything else, but...
And to be fair, because we are fair, like, it's not the end of the world. Running backs need to be able to block and do a lot of different things.
And cut and shift, yes, like the lateral movement. So, again, like, to me, he was just shocking in general, especially after this year. Mm-hmm. Like, it was shocking to see the lack of production, but...
Yeah. And again, we're talking about the player, not the person. I'm sure he's a great guy, but...
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And if he's not, then I guess, whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is. There are some... I guess real worries about. No, how do I want to put this? Oh no.
The way you just said.
I know. I'm trying to think how to put it without
robotic.
not going into. Well, never mind. We won't know. We won't get into it, I guess. But
I'll ask about that later.
Where is the 20? Someone asked when the well, they asked when the draft actually was. I know it's in April. I just can't remember the exact day of it, which is. Oh wait, hold on. No, I don't know. That's gonna bother me now. I don't know the date. But. We got the combine, we got spring game. Someone asked a question. Oh, that's what it was.
Okay, here's the current round. April 24th for round 1, the 26th.
Okay, April 20th. So late April 26th.
April.
Golly, that's the same month as the Masters.
There's other things in April.
Like there's the 9-hole tournament at the Masters.
That one's adorable. All the little babies in their little caddy outfits.
This is what I was thinking about, and I couldn't remember what he had at. Do you think getting rid of the spring game, this is Caden Adelman asking, do you think getting rid of the spring game could affect some recruits' visits? I don't think so. I think that most of them will understand what's going on. Also, like those visits are fun, are more impactful. Like if you have a guy that is a really huge recruit, he's going to go to so many games in the season that it's going to be almost void at the time. Really, the spring game is for like the lower class, the juniors, or maybe even sophomores that are really, really highly ranked and recruited to come in and get an early look at the university before they can take official visits. But I don't think for anyone that's a big 2026 target right now, your Jaden O'Neills and whatnot, it's going to make a bit of difference. So that is something. And look, when they come on visits, it's not just the game that they're looking for. It's how is the campus life, how is all the other stuff going on, and the University of Oklahoma. I will say one thing that is ubiquitous with all the recruits: they love the campus, they love the setting of it, how they love the people around. So that's all going to be the same. And if it provides if they can still provide a way for them to get recruits to see the stadium with when it's busy and when it has people there, and it still provides an energy for them, I think it'll be be just fine. So. Yeah. But that's about it. Do we want to go now to...
I know you had mentioned wanting to show any of the combine interviews. Still want to do that, or just want to jump to gymnastics?
Let's jump to the gymnastics.
Yeah!
When we have time, we'll do it, because I know you want to get into that. So
I do. I'm excited. Whoop, whoop. Okay.
I just had my mouth just open right there. It was terrible.
So, as we mentioned last... Don't X out of that.
I'm just Xing out of the deal so I can bring it up over here. And our own
Anyways,
tab.
but Chad and I got to spend Tuesday afternoon with the women's gymnastics team, and I was telling Chad beforehand, like, I did gymnastics when I was like really little, so it doesn't even count. So when it came to like an actual practice or like drills they did, I don't know. I was like, obviously I know that they just don't do their routines that they do in the meets the whole time. Obviously they're going to practice them, but I was like, I want to just know how do they train? And when we saw them doing different drills, like I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense actually, but I can't believe I just didn't think of that. So it was really cool to see them doing different drills, which I will show in a video. One of the things which, again, when we first got there, we were like really, really off to the side, and all of the girls came over, introduced themselves to us, which was kind of funny because it was really hard not to, when like Audrey Davis comes up, she goes, "Hi, I'm Audrey." It was really hard not to be like, I know. Because like I do. And I was kind of having a little bit of a fangirl moment because they are such amazing athletes and I've enjoyed watching them. They were all so sweet, introduced themselves to us, asked what we were doing there, and we told them, I'm just wanting to learn more about the sport, put it on the podcast, things like that. They were all very genuine with that. Well, then eventually KJ talked to us and she started showing us around a little bit. But we'll talk about it in a second. But at one point, essentially, we talked about we didn't know how much we could move. We didn't want to like get in the way. KJ set up like this big foam box, essentially. Like she put it on the corner of the floor where they work out, like between the beam and the bars. And we just stood there for a long time, or sat there for a long time because we did not want to get in the way. We did not want to move too much. And then, even though she said we had free reign, we're like, okay, does that really mean free reign? Or like,
Yeah.
We didn't want to. And also, Chad being a male, he was like, I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I have the most awkward story of all time coming up after this.
He was like, I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable and like that. So we missed a lot of the vault practices because there was like a wall where the vaults were, so we could see parts of it. But one of the things, which I tried to get a video, but with the video where we were sitting at that time, you couldn't really get it. But they stacked these mats up. I mean, 12 foot, 12, 15 foot. Like, they were super high up, and they would vault off it and then, like, land on it. And it was pretty wild. And I tried to get a video, but you couldn't really tell from where we were sitting what it was. And then by the time we really got comfortable, they had stopped doing a lot of those drills, so I didn't get any of those on camera. But it was just crazy because Chad was like, T, look at all these mats. Like, look how high that is. And so how they're going up them. We talked to Reagan Smith for a while. Again, she introduced herself to us and very much downplayed her abilities.
Oh yeah, she's like, I was
pretty good. Like,
she's like an
was
Olympic
my favorite.
alternate, like a 4-time champion. It's like, okay.
But she very much downplayed it, which as any athlete normally would. And finally, I told her, I was like, I watched you a lot. You were fantastic. Like, and she was like, oh well, thank you. But she was talking to us about the beam and how, we were talking about how we were at the last meet and how close we were and just how easily they just walked on the beam. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, we have to think. It is second nature for us. We've been doing this often since we could walk, literally. Mm-hmm. And so I asked her about how do you, like, learn new tricks, essentially. And she mentioned that they have these, like, long beams they can put that are a little bit fatter. They'll put on the floor and practice it there. Then they have some smaller, lower beams that they'll either put mats next to or not, so they can practice it on like the actual beam material and the width, and then they just go up to the high beam. She said she basically would just practice it on the floor or on that little small raised thing and then go straight to the tall beam. She's like, I didn't like the short beam, so there's really no point for me. I'm like, to me that was brave because I really wanted to ask if I could walk on the beam.
Yeah.
But again, like, we were trying not to be super in the way, and then by the time we got comfortable, they had already shut them down, if you will. They put their covers on them, but I was like, dang, I wanted to, like, just, if I promise not to sue the school if I fall off, can I try to walk on this sucker? But it was really neat. We got a lot of good information, but do you want to tell your funny story first?
Yeah, and did you email me the video, or is it on your Twitter?
Yes, I emailed the video to you.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, there is a, top 5 just on
Sunday.
On the 23rd?
No.
That's from Florida. Are you sure? Just send it again, and if you did, no worries. So we get there, right, and we walk in, and It was, you know what? I'm proud of you right there. You could have said I did and just totally not have actually sent it. And I would have just thought I didn't get it somehow. And you were all good. What's it like making a mistake? What's it like feeling like the rest of us? It's weird, huh? Hey, look, I'm as shocked as anybody. I'm being halfway joking, halfway seriously, because she never, like, if she says she's done something, it's like always done. I'm sure that it actually probably got lost.
Just how
in
you
translation.
feel all the time.
See, now you're getting personal, and no, not all the time. There's times when I don't feel like this. That's one of our favorite lines from National Treasure, by the way. We try to find reasons to use that. It's fantastic. But yeah, so anyways, we get there and we walk in the gym. And again, like I've never really been in a gymnastics practice, so I don't know what the customs are or really how to, get around. So I'm trying to just not be in the way. Every one of them comes up and says hi. Like they were super nice, like super, happy we were there.
They're all like my height. It's one of the first times I've ever been surrounded by a team close to my
you were
size.
Made for it.
It was fantastic.
And they were super just joyful to be at practice. You could just tell they loved what they did. And so Coach KJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm making sure I don't say JK, like JK Rowling. That was stuck in my head for a couple times there. KJ, super nice as well. You could tell why she became a really good recruiter and why she got really good gymnasts to come to Oklahoma, because she's awesome. She's really, really cool. She's showing us, she wants to show kind of the amenities they had. And it's true, they're a 6-time national championship team. You would think that their amenities are, top notch in every respect. And they're about to be with the new amenities, or the new facility they're getting and building on. But their locker room, I got asked, so she was like, you come to see the locker room. I'm like, I want to make sure, like, everyone, there's no one in there. She's like, no, trust me, I wouldn't, it's all, we've checked and all that. So we walk in, and it's like barely wider from locker to locker than my arms are, And although I got a wingspan that, Steph Curry would be jealous of, it was, and they have, 20 gymnasts that share that locker room?
20 gymnasts, yeah.
Yeah.
They said they had one shower, which I really don't even use because they have to use the shower to hang up leotards to dry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that, the length, how long do you think the locker room was?
15, 14 feet.
Yeah,
maybe.
like it was small.
Yeah, 15
It was
max.
very, very, very small. It was crazy.
And it's one thing now to look at that, and we were talking about this at dinner. It was, now that they have so many national championships and she's won so many since 2014, it's easy to say, look, regardless of facility, who cares? You come to Oklahoma, you're on the best team in the country. Exactly. And but there were, look at that, in unison. But there is the other part to it is, she wasn't always at that point. So it's, how are you getting the talented players to begin with? And the ability she had to have to recruit, because I didn't know
Talented
this either.
Players.
Talented gymnasts. Sorry for all the. I'm sure they're all watching right now. So
Obviously.
Hello, how do you all? It's nice to meet you. But all the talented gymnasts you got to begin in the first place to be develop into the team you are today, right?
Absolutely.
That deserves it, and that's what's so impressive. And then you realize like the talent, like the ability to see talent where it was, and then to go recruit it. And then I didn't know this, but we're one of the few gyms that shares male and female. The male and female gymnastics teams share the facility.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Right, and I wouldn't have
or wasn't
thought
a thing, I guess.
so otherwise. Which to me, at first, I was like, that doesn't really seem like a big deal. But then I think of all the basketball practices I had been in, and what if the men's team had to share half the court while we shared half the court? Or even if we had a facility that had 2 courts in it at the same time, but like not split by like a wall or anything. Like, what if they were on one court, we were on another court? Like, that would be very distracting. It'd be hard to hear, but, they made it work, and, they're going to have some really good facilities, but she mentioned if the girls want anything like an ice bath, they have to go to Lloyd Noble or have to go somewhere else to get the treatment.
The softball
which
team,
now the softball facilities have their own as well. So they said as long as they don't have a game, the softball team and Patty have been really great about letting the athletes come over there. But definitely, again, the biggest part for us was just more so like, yes, the brand sells itself now. So the facilities and what they're working with currently might not be as big as a factor. But like there was a point when we weren't the Oklahoma that we were before KJ.
100%.
And KJ had to come in and basically, she built this.
Bootstrap it.
Right. She's fantastic. I mean, we saw what a good coach she was and how much the girls adored her, it seemed like. And the new facility they're going to get, they deserve that and more. But they definitely deserve that. What in tarnation?
It's not sending.
I know I sent it.
Interesting. Did you send it? Are you sure? It says versus Florida.
I know, but I'm saying though, I've already sent it. Like 3 times.
It's interesting. You just try to text it to me and I can get it to myself somehow. But well, yeah, it's been that was a really, really, really cool thing. The guys came out and started warming up too, and like there are. It's weird to be around a lot of people that you just know are just absolutely another level of athletic. They do a couple stretches, like a couple arm circles. I'm like, look, I can hang with them so far.
Oh, stop.
They're just stretching. They're just loosening up the old wrist, and then they just start doing front flips and back flips. Like they're just like, well, let's just go in a line, and then like they do high knees like in track and football. They're doing front flips, and then like fulls. What are they called? Full, like when you do a full like turn.
Yeah, like full.
And then their backs are they look like wings. Like I mean, they got like turtle shells. They're just muscle. And I'm like, well, that's just not. I feel just terrible right now. So I don't know. It was really cool to see though. I'm still not getting it on here.
I'm doing the best I can.
You're
But
good.
anyways,
You're
yeah. So one thing we did find out too is like with fans. So shout out to all the fans.
Yeah.
We had the second at the Florida meet, the second largest attendance in history. So
Boom.
great. Oh, sorry.
We want to beat it this
So
Friday.
that was great. Want to
Yep.
beat it this Friday against Michigan.
And you
It is-
still have your link?
I do still have my link. And it is senior night for Audrey Davis, Jordan Bowers, Danielle Sievers, and Danae Fletcher. And so there is one more meet to go out and support them. I do have a link that I've shared, and I'm going to continue sharing it throughout the week where you can get discount tickets for as cheap as $5 and then $5 to $10. So let's go ahead and just totally pack it out for them. That would be the best. Okay.
I'm gonna put it in the chat here. There you go.
Yes. I'm trying to send
Use
this
that link. You
again.
can get $10 tickets to reserve, and then you get $5 tickets for just general
Right.
admission, which is really, really sweet.
And try sending attachment.
Yeah, just try to
I've
send
already
it to
tried
me.
mail drop too.
And I
We'll
can,
see what happens. But so a lot of people in the past have always
Derek's like a
complained
joke,
about what?
No, not Derek. Your brother-in-law, my best friend, texted me. Said to check my junk mail, which I did.
Oh,
But it's not
junk.
there.
But anyways,
That was fantastic.
but we learned. So a lot of people have always complained about OU judging, especially like at home or whatever. But what?
Yeah, that's it. Is it saved as actual in your
No.
phone?
Because it, yeah. But so a lot of people have complained about OU judging in the past, and well, especially this year, people still complain about it, whatever. But OU, if you look at their home and away scores, they're very, very comparable, and in fact, they score better away. And more so than that, OU is one of the only schools that does not have any judges on the floor from Oklahoma. So like,
Yeah, that's wild.
so on the floor, like she was like, yeah, no, we never have judges from Oklahoma. Like our judges are coming in from Washington and Minnesota and all these different random places. Meanwhile, were we allowed to say this?
I think it's no. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's no. LSU had 3 judges on the floor from Louisiana. Florida had 3 from Florida. When we went to Auburn, 2 from Alabama, 1 from Georgia. So you're telling me in a sport that's subjective, like that's not going to make a difference? Again, it just goes to show that OU is good no matter who's judging. And they don't need judges from Oklahoma to get these inflated scores that they talk about because it's not even true. But I thought that was kind of a fun one to learn, essentially, because it kind of debunks that whole home cooking thing. But
Well, it goes because there was always that narrative that Oklahoma gets bonus points at home or they get
Right.
graded higher for whatever reason. And really,
because we're Oklahoma.
we don't. Like,
No.
and you mentioned we score higher on the road.
Yeah, we
by
score higher
point.
on the road than we do at home. And one of the things, too, that's new with the scoring is because a lot of people we talked to KJ about it, like there's been a lack of 10s. It seems like a lot of people, not even just KJ because she's had interviews, but other coaches have, complained about the scoring along the way. So essentially what's happening, and it wasn't intended for this to happen, it was just kind of a unforeseen consequence, is the judges are being judged on their judging. So essentially the judges are putting in these scores, and then other judges are coming in and basically making them justify why they scored what they scored. They're seeing how accurate they were. So then judges are afraid to give like a perfect 10 or
A really high score.
a really high score. Then they have to, they could get docked for that essentially. And so, which is again causing these girls to get docked too much almost, but I don't know. I kind of feel for that. And then the way that the scoring is going too, they take 6 scores, 3 of which have to be away, 3 of which have to be home, and from there, they're averaging out the scores, and they'll drop your lowest one like they would, and that's how you're getting their rankings. Which OU continues to be number 1 because again they score very similar away and home, where some teams score notoriously better at home, and not as well away. But not the point. So we asked KJ2 to tell us some more about some common deductions and like what a fan like you and I could look for.
Right.
Because obviously we're not going to know everything when it comes to the penalties. But I said, what are some things that we can look for with each event just to know, just to help us along with the scoring. So with beam, any type of wobble, which seems obvious, can be up to 0.3 off, depending on how big the wobble is. Whether it's just a little oop or like when we see the girl really going back. If you touch the beam at all with your hands, besides obviously in a move, like I think Audrey Davis has a move where she touches. But if you touch it essentially when you're wobbling, that's automatically considered a fall. A step forward, so like if you land and you take a big step forward, that can be up to 0.2 off. When you're looking at their turns and when they're walking on the beam a lot, they want their toes to be up on releve instead of like their heel touching down. So you want to look for those. Their jumps that they do have to be 180. So that's another deduction if it's not. So it's pretty crazy. So those are some of the things you can look for on the beam. On the vault, there are these lines that you see on the other side of the vault. You want to be right in the middle. Then the closer you get to the line is a deduction. They need their height to be super high. If it seems low, that's a deduction. They want to be vertical when they go off the vault. Mm-hmm. It's another deduction if they're not. And then, of course, they always want their feet to be nice and pretty and together and pointed. And you want to stick it. We all know what a stick it is.
Try to sign into your email right there.
Oh, goodness.
You're good. I'm going to answer a couple of these while you do that real quick. Would KJ ever consider having Oklahoma judges lopsided? So I think that they're actually... Oh, sorry. It's over there. I'll bring it over to your screen. There you go. I think that they're assigned, and they're not really, they don't get to pick who they have as judges, which makes it kind of tough because it also makes it kind of weird, like, what makes it kind of weird is like why Oklahoma doesn't get
I need my phone because I forget my
what they have. Sorry, we thought it got sent to us, but it just didn't. Some person asked, do we think the Sooners will slip in the dance on basketball? Just real quick, I guess while she's logging in for the video, basketball's so weird because you do get credit when you lose to good teams, and I don't want to say credit. You just don't get dinged as hard in the voting or in depending on who they ask to be in, but who they select to be in. And Oklahoma's been the bubble team 2 years in a row. I think that if they can win one of these next 2, I think they're for sure in. I think they're in. I don't know why really I think that they're for sure in, but I do believe that they are. And for me, it is.
That's one way to do it. Nope, that's Gymnastics versus Florida.
Hold on. Is this your deal?
Yeah, but it's not showing sent
weird.
from my side either.
Maybe there was too much to be sent.
All right, well, that's
Might be
annoying.
too big of a file. I don't know. I was trying to just see if I go to your sents and.
It shouldn't be because I know that I
That's interesting.
did a similar video just recently, and
That's interesting. Wow. We're sure both of these are. We're sure both of those are for Florida. Should be.
anyways, sorry.
Yeah.
Continue answering some questions along the way.
Are you able to tweet it? Are you able to tweet your video? You can try to tweet it. I already did exporting it, saved to your file.
Oh.
So you don't need to do that.
I tried to delete
the
video out.
Sorry, we're trying to get this out because she kind of worked pretty hard on it. So I'm going to see
worked
if she can
very
get it.
hard on it.
If not,
normally
we'll
I
tweet it
ask,
out
did you get
and
my
go.
email? But he's gotten it every time. But I didn't think to ask this time.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to even think
Anyways,
we need to ask that.
So on the floor, I did ask because my best friend was wondering if the gymnasts pick their own music, and they do, but they don't. Only 2 gymnasts, which I believe she said was Faith and Jordan Bowers, are the only ones who pick their own music. Other than that, KJ has to go in there, find the music, cut the music, do it all herself, and then choreograph it. I'm like, that is a ton of extra work. You think she could be able to outsource the music, but then she mentioned how much it truly has to fit each gymnast personality and something that they're interested in. So I also asked with floor, they do, you see them doing a lot of like dance moves essentially. I said, how is that scored? Is that scored like, because it doesn't seem gymnastics, if you will.
Right.
But she said, yeah, definitely. Like your performance, like your eye contact, if you're into the music, are you smiling? Like your footwork, things like that. She's like, that could be up to 0.3 off. Like if you're not a good performer, like that can really hurt you in the scores.
Put that in perspective of like basket. I mean, that's why does that seem like a lot? Like 0.3 is a ton of points in gymnastics. Like
that is a
like,
ton.
It's like 15 in basketball.
Right. It's just the culture of it. You just have to be able to do it. And so that was really interesting to me. She mentioned any type of their jumps. They have to basically, their feet, if you start together, when you jump, they have to come right back together. That's points off. Again, the footwork needing to be on releve, not having flex feet always pointed, unless, of course, you intentionally have, like Jordan Bowers has a move where she goes dunk, dunk, and her feet are intentionally flexed. So that can happen that way too. And then the bars, of course, they want to be vertical. When they're on the bar, you'll see them do a handstand. You don't want to see them like leaning within 10 degrees. The height of their releases when they come off or doing their tricks can also be considered. Mounted, they want to have straight arms, straight legs at all times. She said especially the straight arms, at no point in your bar routine should you ever have bended arms, which I thought was fascinating. And then, of course, you want your feet and legs together. So we learned a lot on the scoring aspect that we didn't even think about. And then one thing also KJ told us was that especially, so when we had that large audience, even though we were cheering loudly, it seemed like whenever the other team was doing their performances, we were taking the high road and being very quiet and respectful. And even if a good score popped up for one of our gymnasts, like we kind of just golf clapped it or didn't even clap at all. I know at one point I tried to cheer, and I know at one point I wanted to try and cheer, but like nobody else did, so I felt super awkward about it. KJ wanted me to let everybody know it is absolutely okay to cheer when the other team is performing, and in fact that you want to. So again, I repeat, KJ wanted me to let everybody know it is 100% okay to cheer and get loud even if the other team is performing. So if Michigan's performing on the beam and Audrey Davis just got the score that she got a 995 on her bar routine, or it want to be bar, on her floor routine, whatever it is, cheer loudly, because that is called home meet advantage, and they want that. They want to have that type of energy and hostility, which is what they face when they go to Auburn, when they go to LSU, when they go to these SEC schools. They're facing that type of craziness, and so they want to be able to create that as well. So on Friday, if you're going to the meet, get loud throughout all of it. We're still trying to get this video going, but I guess we'll see. If not, then we'll have to show it next week. But
dude, I'm like determined now. I'm going to get this thing working. Keep talking about something.
Oh, okay. So we can talk about other sports though, I guess, while we're waiting. Softball and baseball are both undefeated. We're the only school that has both of our diamond sports undefeated, which is fantastic. I believe baseball is up to 13 in the polls, where the women are 2. I believe we dropped to 2, which is fine. I know a lot of people have had questions about strength of schedule. It really doesn't matter, because when we get into SEC play, we're going to have a hard strength of schedule. We open up with South Carolina this weekend, who is also undefeated in softball. So it's going to be a very good matchup. Of course, then we also going to have Texas, Tennessee, Alabama along the way, which are very, very good programs. So that strength of schedule is only going to go up substantially. So it'll be a good practice for them. The men's gymnastics team, I believe they just won Coach Mark Williams, they're his 600 win of all time. I have the win percentage here, but it's on my phone, which Chad has, so I can't look at it. But I have his overall score. But it's pretty fantastic. So happy for him in that aspect. Women's basketball they've won 7 in a row now, so they're doing fantastic. They will be the 5th seed at the SEC tournament, and they will play, I believe, Thursday, either against Georgia or Arkansas. We are actually at the game on Friday against Alabama, and it was such a fantastic atmosphere. Reagan Beard, I mean, really, almost every girl that played scored. Like we had a lot of good scores. Reagan Beers had another double-double, but Jenny mentioned it in a conference on her press conference. She mentioned that like the fans really did have an effect on the game, because I mean, she turned around and she was yelling at everybody like, get up, stand up, like, get up, yeah. And, like, we immediately were like, yes, ma'am, aye, aye, captain. And we got up and we screamed and hollered and yelled, and, you know, they ended up getting a big stop, and it turned into points. And it was just, oh, man, it was so good. It was such a fantastic senior night for them to go on, I say end on their home floor. We're hoping that they end up getting a high seed to get to host, but in the tournament, not the SEC tournament. And so, but it was really good. They've had a great season. Still, again, always the turnovers, but I hope they can make some waves in the SEC tournament and then turn around and make some waves in the NCAA tournament. Boys basketball just falls.
Oh, man, it's so frustrating.
I do appreciate the tenacity I've seen them have the last 2 games. I've seen them have a lot more fight, a lot more grit that I haven't seen the past few games, which I really do appreciate. It's just they just can't find a way to win. It seems to always come down to the last 30 seconds, and then they lose by 1, lose by 3, and so many other games they've lost by 1 possession. And it comes down to the end, and it just seems like it never goes our way. But I didn't get to watch the game against Ole Miss because we were at a young child's birthday party, and then we had to drive back, and we didn't have access to any cable, so we were trying to kind of follow along, and then I was trying to stream softball later. But I watched some of the highlights, and man, Dayton Forsyth had himself a heck of a game, and that kid's going to be a problem in the coming years. He's only going to continue to get better. Again, I've always liked his tenacity, but he really showed his scoring ability this past time, so shout out to Dayton. Fantastic game. Somebody might know, because again, I didn't get to watch and I only saw highlights. Did Moore get hurt? Jalen Moore get hurt? Because I saw he only shot 2 times, no points, and then he played 26 minutes. So it had me thinking he was hurt. I could have looked it up, but I figured I'd just ask somebody in the chat just for interaction's sake. But yeah, it just seems like the men just cannot get it done at the end, and it hurts us fans. It sucks for us because we get our hopes up, but it especially, I know it hurts them even more. Dang it.
Yeah, it's going to be too long. Sorry. We're going to have to figure out a way to get it, and we'll try to show it next week. Yeah, but we'll be able to maybe incorporate some other stuff.
Right. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good. No way for us to have known.
Literally,
I'm trying to think if there's
the last
I don't know any other way.
the last video I sent you, I feel like was long too.
I don't know.
Which is frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But
well,
I
apologize more to Gymnastics
we
because
streamed it off of your Twitter,
okay, yeah,
though.
he did get hurt in the first half.
Kate Nodelman again makes a good point. He goes, I don't think I've seen the men's basketball team get off a good shot to win the game ever. I was watching a video of Jay Bilas back when he was coaching, and he made a point that towards the end of the game, it's so important to keep movement together.
Sorry.
And to keep, you're good, then to keep the ball moving and not get stagnant. And I think right now, at least what I've seen, is we have a tendency when the games get tight towards the end to just kind of lose all movement of the ball. Like we stand still, we wait for a guy to make a play, and the flowingness we had just goes away. And I think when Oklahoma plays their best, whenever they are moving the ball well and they get good, solid shots from the 3, and they're consistent. But whenever it gets, I think, in crunch time, I think they just tighten up a little bit, and they want someone to go make the play instead of just running the offense like you're taught to. And some of it might be Porter as well, some changes maybe on his end, but I just think that they're trying to do too much right now, or trying to maybe have a fears. Yeah, it is Jay Bilas. Billis. I know I say Billis. I always have. I know it's Jay Bilas, but there's a Bilas, just so everyone knows. But there are. It's just like a struggle. It's a struggle to see them kind of do the same thing every time towards the end of the game. They get down by a lot. They come back. They always make it close at the end, it seems, and then they just can't figure out a way to finally get a win and to finally get across the finish line. I do think they still have a good chance if they can win one of these last 2, and you never know, even considering if they have, depending on what other teams do around them, their win against Michigan, their win against Louisville, the win against Vanderbilt. Those are going to be NC State. Those are going to be Mississippi State. My bad. Those are going to be such good wins for the committee. And I think the fact that we haven't been, besides the Ole Miss, the Alabama games and all of that, they are we haven't been blown out on any of those losses at home, which I think the committee at least will say, look, they played in a tough schedule. They played a tough SEC schedule, and they were in every game that they played, especially at home, which is going to be, I think, just it's going to go a long way to the committee. Now, if you lose the next two, I don't know, the record's going to be so bad conference-wise that it's going to be tough. Don't forget, the men started out 13-0, which is just crazy. T has an idea here, and we're hour and 10 into.
I saved it to my drafts.
Okay.
See if it pulls up there.
We're gonna have to go back and do your deal. Let me get this out and talk about the. Did you already talk about the girls team?
I did a little bit, but I could talk about softball if you guys
Just
like.
do that.
I can
Tell
pull
them
up
the
my
update on
sports. So softball essentially run ruled everyone this weekend, which it's not a big surprise. They played Marshall, they played Kansas City, I think, but then they played Kansas as well, which Kansas is a Big 12 team, but they just, I mean, it was a home run derby in Norman. It was, no,
it's not in there.
darn it, it was a home run derby in Norman. We had grand slams, we had regular home runs. Cass Pickering had back-to-back home runs. Gabby Garcia continues to be not a regular freshman. I bet she goes on to beat her mom's home run record her freshman year. Isabella Emmerling seems to have gotten her groove back. So, man, they just have been fantastic. Sid Sanders is somebody that I've also been impressed with. She went on a little bit of a hitting slump, it seemed like, at times last year. But man, they're looking good. I'm excited. It's going to be a really good weekend for them versus South Carolina. That's a team that's shown up. They basically gave Duke more than Duke wanted. So, man, they swept them. So that's a good team. Sorry, we're really out here
I don't
trying.
think we're going to be able to get it.
We're probably not. I'm going to try one more time.
I think we're the only team that has both. We are the only team that has both baseball and softball
Yeah, I
undefeated.
mentioned that.
Okay, well, there you go. Sorry. I was trying to do that.
But yeah,
That's
the last thing too. Okay, yeah. Mark Williams earned his 600th win. His total record.
Okay.
600 wins, 58 losses, 1 tie, which is a .911 winning record.
That's pretty good.
Pretty stinking
Someone says
good.
pretty good.
They're also number 1 in the nation. I will say too, it seemed like the Ole Miss game, the biggest factor that it looks like, I looked, it was turnovers. It's kind of what seems like what cost us the game there, but
That'll do it. It kills us every time. Even the games that were close in, it's just. Well, even the game this weekend, like with the women, they still lost 15-8 in turnovers with Alabama.
I think 19-8.
19-8?
It might be yeah.
They lost by a lot, and it's just that stuff. When you play a really good team, you can't lose the turnover battle.
Nope.
And Alabama was good. That number 14 could shoot.
That number 14 had herself a heck of a game.
Alabama's either going to upset a really good team or get blown out by a bad team because they shoot the three so much that if they're on, they can beat anybody, and when they're off, it's going to be a struggle for them to score.
Right. And honestly, this is a side note this is gymnastics. If I even get this video uploaded, I might just find a way to see if we can upload it as its own individual video on here. I don't know. I worked really hard on it, and I'm frustrated because I was really excited to show off that we went to the practice. But I can also tweet it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
I'm trying one more time. Do you guys have any more questions? Can we take a moment for Chad's luscious hair?
Dude, text forever. Thank you. Get it from I guess my dad has good hair.
Paul's good hair.
Yeah, give him some credit.
Yeah.
So does Chuck, my father-in-law. Yes.
Yeah.
Not that it has anything to do with me, but,
I was like, that has nothing to do with your genetics,
it's in
yeah.
the around, or, it's around us everywhere.
So our future children potentially, I guess, could have some good hair.
Text forever. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
Wow, he's going to talk about how someone had his hair looked good.
I don't know. Did they? Did someone say that?
Wanna
Someone
pull
said
it
something
up
about my
again?
hair? Oh, text. I didn't know you said thanks, man.
Stop.
That's not. Well, I didn't
But
say anything.
anyways, while you're
Text
still
said it.
here,
Text said it.
like the video,
Yes, please. That
comment
helps a
on the
ton.
video.
Yep.
Let us know any of your thoughts on any of these things. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on our socials. We're here every Monday at 7 o'clock.
And y'all will see this video. If it's this week, next week, we might be retiring and collecting Social Security.
I know.
It will go out to the public.
It's so weird because it
really is weird.
Shorter
There's
than the video I showed last week, and it
And
sent.
you were able to tweet
And
that
I was
video.
able to tweet it.
I don't know. Maybe with
I
the
don't know,
storms and
something's
everything. I don't
happening.
know. Something's happening weirdly. But
We are sorry. I will get on it. I'll figure it out. I'll edit the video down if I have to.
end of the day, worst things that could happen in this world, We could ask.
I didn't know who Gabby's mom is, but I believe she played for Arizona State. She played softball, but I think they said Gabby was 8 home runs short of her mom's record going into the weekend. I think she got 2 or 3 this weekend or so. So I think she might be able to get those. So we'll see.
If you have family, fathers, if you have daughters, or just whoever, try to go Friday to the gymnastics meet. They're really, really fun.
Yes.
And it's their last one against Michigan. We want to sell it out and just support them. They deserve it. And
Absolutely,
it's a big deal.
they deserve it. Let's try to get that #1 attendance record for them. Again, I have that link on my Twitter for the discount tickets. I will continue to share it. So I hope you guys keep coming back. Sorry we couldn't get to more comments today. We just had a lot that we
had to
discuss.
get to.
And again, if you want to ensure we see your comment,
you can always do a super
you
chat.
can always do a super chat.
We feel we're going to ask for those, but it is a thing that you can do. But there is a couple people here just saying they enjoy the show. We really appreciate y'all taking your time. It means a lot to us. We try to do the best we can on putting something together. It is, again, tough. We both work a lot of hours during the week, and we try to schedule. I try to put some time in my day to just do some research and just general thoughts on different things happening with Oklahoma.
Right.
It'll be
we had a plan today, and then the spring game news dropped within a couple hours of our show that we had to also add that. So that's why we kind of talked more than we interacted today. So I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's what it is. And we're still learning how to get better. We're still getting better at making sure, like this today. I would never have thought that the video wouldn't send. It never even happened.
Because every time I've asked you about it, you're like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it every single time.
It'll be something I make sure that I look at, throughout the earlier. And we'll be better for it. But it's one of those things that you don't know until you know. I mean, it's like we wouldn't have known to look. But, it is what it is. And it's also, just to be on completely Front Street, we're trying to create different topics. Whenever there's kind of this time of football, it's tough because there's so many of the same things being discussed, and there's not many new news breaking except for a day when, like, with the spring game or something else of the sort. So, if you have anything you would like for us to discuss that is, relevant to Oklahoma sports, football preferably, but if it's any other sport, I'm big in hockey right now. And I think I want to get a jersey in a bad way. So that's kind of the main, my hope. Also, we want to kind of read this out. It's let me put this out there. Let me get rid of this thing, this media style, and then let me go.
Get rid of our little banner.
Yeah, get rid of our little banner. Sponsorships. If you have, if you want to get your business or like product, service, or anything, personal brand to the next level by partnering with the Voice of College Football, talk to us about that. Let us know, and we can reach out to your target market and tell you how we can kind of do that. And then check out the experience of one of our current partners posted on the screen right now. We're here to deliver for you, and then you can contact us at sponsorships at this Voice of College Football, but vocfb.com today. And then this is the
and we did include that that sponsorship link in the chat, and we should have started, so hopefully you might be able to see it.
Yep. And this just says, for those listening, we have had a great experience sponsoring the Michigan channel over the past season. Our social media and web engagement has gone up since we started the campaign, and we have acquired some new clients as a result of this sponsorship. John and DJ have gone above and beyond in promoting us, making sure we feel like a valued partner. We really appreciate the commitment that they have to the channel. And that's kind of one thing that is, how do I get us back up here? That's kind of like one thing that has been, I don't really know how to get rid of this. It's funny.
Go back to.
That has been that I think we really want to do while I'm trying to figure out how to do this. It's kind of annoying that I can't, but there we are. Is, as we've kind of done this, I really do want to, and just, I mean, the not to add to the promotion or anything, but being able to promote like local businesses in a way is something that I'm really passionate about, because just in general of just where we are just in total, but being able to promote local businesses, I would love to do it. If there's any way we can help, let us know. If we can get you in contact with people, we'll do that. If we can help personally, we'll do that. We'd love to. So yeah, let us know. No pressure, but if it's something you want to try out, then you feel free.
Right. And before you go, make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe to our channel. We'll be here next Monday at 7 p.m. I'll try to figure out this conundrum I'm having with the gymnastics video that I worked hours on, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, I feel bad for her.
Fine.
I'm impressed she's holding it in. I have a feeling, we're going to get through it. But we will figure it out, yeah. We really hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, we'll continue to get better. Be patient with us, but we really appreciate everything. You guys taking time out. Also, keep an eye on the weather. It's going to be pretty tense, it looks like, later tonight around midnight. So try to keep an eye on it. If you hear an alert, make sure you're paying attention. All those things. So, yeah. Otherwise, God bless. I hope you all have a safe night and a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye.